A couple of weeks ago on this channel, I told you about this amazing blue bottle that you see behind me, ASEA Redox supplement. A friend had introduced me to it. He's having some pretty serious health issues involving heavy metal contamination, and a doctor recommended ASEA to him, and he feels so strongly about it, he reached out to me and he wanted me to try it and research it for myself and then introduce it to you. And I've been drinking 4 ounces from the blue bottle twice a day for about a month. It's early on, and I'm going to continue to give you regular updates on my journey with ASEA and tell you what's happening with me. But what I can tell you is, over the last week or so, I have begun to have the most vivid dreams. I can't remember the last time I dreamt so often and so vividly. In other words, I'm getting some pretty heavy REM sleep. REM sleep is so important. That's when we heal. REM sleep is restorative, and I wake up feeling like I slept really hard. And a couple of weeks ago, I also introduced you to Danielle Matthews and her amazing story. She suffered a serious brain injury after being struck by a drunk driver, and she suffered from constant pain and debilitating headaches. And her mother, Lynn Matthews, got her on ASEA Redox supplement, and Danielle told you about her remarkable journey back to a healthy, pain-free life. And Danielle's story is so powerful, but I wanted you to get a medical doctor's perspective, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Dr. David Silverman was a foot and ankle surgeon for about a dozen years. He received his postgraduate training at New York College of Podiatric Medicine, and Dr. Silverman now brings his expertise to ASEA's Medical Professionals Board. So, have a listen to this conversation, and if you feel that ASEA is right for you, then I'd invite you to visit strangeplanet.teamasea.com. strangeplanet.teamasea.com. The link is right there on the screen. And if you'd like more information or you'd like to order, call my colleague and good friend Lynn Matthews, 443-254-6024. 443-254-6024. Her number is on the screen as well. And now, that all-important perspective from a medical doctor. Hey, Dr. Silverman, thanks for being here. How are you?
Richard, I am great. I feel bad you're wearing a sweater, and I just came off the golf course in Florida, but I'm doing good. You'll keep longer than me.
Yes, winter has descended here like an iron curtain. So I want to talk about the science. I had a wonderful conversation with Danielle Matthews. She talked about her brain injury after that horrible accident and the road to recovery, which was, a long and winding road until she discovered this wonderful technology behind me right here, ASEA, blue bottle, drink the blue bottle. And
right.
It's not just salt water. People say, "Oh, it's salt water." Well, yeah, it says that on the label, but what is actually contained in these wonderful blue bottles?
So I'll just give a reference here, and then I'll get into it, because you're going to ask me questions that people are going to want deeper answers to. And but I put a website together that's strictly informational, because it's called gettingyoungerclub.com. Gettingyoungerclub.com. No contact information, just information. Just because I'm on the medical board of the company, and people are always asking, well, why does it say salt water, or how does it work, or all these things? How do I know it's real quickly? So there's one on there that says, is it just salt water, at gettingyoungerclub.com. But here's the whole premise of this. This is not a pharmaceutical. So when I was introduced to it 12 years ago, when my friend brought it to me, I didn't know what redox signaling molecules were. I didn't know what it was. I actually had learned about it as a biology major in the University of Maryland. I'm 62, so it was a long time ago. And in podiatric medical school, I learned about it. But there was no known function for redox molecules. But the fact is, our cells make what's in here. We make it, but we make more when we're younger in our mitochondria. So why is it made from salt water? Redox stands for reductant and oxidant. And there are good books. There's a great book called Redox Matters, connecting the dots between redox biology and health. But redox stands for reductant and oxidant. And so a lot of people know the term antioxidant. Antioxidants are amazing. In fact, antioxidants don't work in the body unless you have redox signaling molecules. So it's interesting. But the saltwater thing is this: our cells are filled with saline. Our cells are filled with sodium chloride and H2O, water. And mitochondria float in this, and our nucleus floats in that. And our cells, our mitochondria makes these redox signaling molecules from salt and water. And I'll explain. But when people say we're not filled with salt water, yeah, we are. When you cry, what does it taste like? When you sweat, what does it taste like? You go to the hospital, you get an IV. What's in the IV? Saline. Our cells are filled with saline. So our cells make reductants and oxidants, redox signaling molecules from salt and water. But what happens in the cells, and you'll see in the video, sodium chloride is sodium chloride, that's salt, right? H2O is 2 hydrogens and an oxygen. Well, what happens in the mitochondria is the molecules get cleaved, they get disassociated, they get split. So the sodium chloride all of a sudden gets split. Now you got a charged sodium and a charged chloride. The H2O gets split. You got a charged hydrogen and a charged oxygen. And they are used as building blocks to create other molecules different than redox, than salt and water. So sodium chloride or H2O, right? 2 hydrogen and oxygen. But once you've split them apart, you could, instead of taking 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogens, you can make a molecule out of 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens, not 1 oxygen. So it's H2O2. And that is a redox signaling molecule. In fact, that's one that most people that are listening to this know exactly what it is.
Hydrogen peroxide.
It's in a brown bottle in their medicine cabinet. It's hydrogen peroxide. Now, hydrogen peroxide has nothing to do with water. It's a completely different molecule. So basically, you're using those as building blocks to make reductants and oxidants that are charged. So it's not salt and water, and we can talk about how anybody can prove to themselves that it's not salt and water in 10 minutes. But that's really the science of it.
And the purpose of these molecules inside human cells, they're signaling something. What are they signaling? What do they do?
So the term went from reductants and oxidants to redox signaling molecules. So we know 3 major things they do. And I've been doing this for 12 years now, sharing this with people. Some people are open-minded, some aren't. When people see, hey, it comes with a money-back guarantee and it can't hurt me in any way, because I wrote prescriptions all the time. And prescriptions, you got to worry about, person could be allergic to it. Can't be allergic to this. It's not a pharmaceutical. Person could interact with it. If you give them one medication, it could interact with another medication. I could kill them. Wrong medication. This doesn't interact with anything. You can take it with anything. And third, medications, you have to know the proper dosage. Every medicine has a dosage, because if you give too much, the liver can't metabolize it fast enough, and the toxicity builds up, and you're going to get sick. Your liver is going to shut down. Your kidney is going to shut down. You're going to go blind. You're going to have a heart attack. Eventually, you'll die. You'll overdose. I mean, heroin's, you take enough Tylenol, you'll die. Any medicine. This doesn't work like that. It's not a medicine. If you take, all you're doing when you drink it, when I was a kid, I produced this much. In my 20s, I produced less, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. You see what happens to us as we get older, right? When I drink this, I'm raising my levels back up to when I was young. So I'm 62, but I feel like I'm 26. I mean, I don't even take ibuprofen when I golf anymore. In my 30s, I golfed once a week. I took ibuprofen for 2 days. I golf a lot of times 2 rounds a day. Now I don't take anything and I feel phenomenal. I take no medications. So there are 3 major things that we know that they do in the body. One is, I mentioned it before, they make your antioxidants active. So any of your listeners that know what glutathione is, or SOD or catalase, quite frankly, most people don't care about this stuff, Richard. They just care about, hey, I got a blood sugar problem. Will this help? Hey, I get headaches, really bad headaches, at a certain time of the month or every day. Will it help? I got this skin thing. I got to put these horrible medicines on. I got ringing in my ear. I don't sleep well. My child's on the spectrum. My son was bitten by a tick. My dad had an issue with his head. He can't move his arm. Most people don't care about what we're talking about. And I know when you ask me, there's certain, you have a highly educated group and listeners, and they want to know this stuff. Okay. So it activates your antioxidants, number one. Number two, a genetic expression, double-blind, placebo-controlled study, I'll explain what that is, showed that it turns genes back on that turn off as we age. We all know the term epigenetics. A lot of people do. Our genes turn off as we age, and the things that our grandparents and our parents had, all of a sudden we start getting them in our 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s when we didn't have them when we were young. Genetic expression is your genes are telling your cells what protein is to produce. So your liver produces different proteins than your kidney. Your retina cells produce different proteins than your liver or kidney. It's genetic expression, right? And that goes down. So when the protein production goes down, maybe the retina doesn't work as well. Retinas work real well when you're 10, 20, 30, 40, and then all of a sudden, 60, 70, oh God, I got a problem. I'm getting injections in my eyeball. You don't see a lot of heart attacks in young people. You don't see a lot of Parkinson's in young people. You don't see a lot of things in young people. Every decade, we decline, and it starts at puberty, because after puberty, we don't heal as quickly as we did at 10. We really start declining after puberty, and that's when our mitochondria starts producing less of this. So the genetic expression study was an 8-week, double-blind, placebo-controlled study done by Touré Labs. You can look them up. And they wanted to see if it would turn genes back on. And the placebo group drank saline, because people say, oh, it's just saline. They're like, okay, well, let's make the placebo saline. And not one person who drank the saline had their genetic expression increase. But every single person, everyone who drank ASEA, their genes turned on, 20 to 31%. So you can look that up. There's a site, ASEAScience.com, ASEAScience.com, you can see it. The third thing is, this is such a breakthrough, and it sounds too good to be true to people. I'm sure, like penicillin did to the doctors in the when it was discovered. Here, give your patients this bread mold; it'll save their leg. Bread mold. Why am I going to give them bread mold? But then once the word got out, penicillin works. It's like, hey, here's your prescription. No, I'm going to try to save your leg or whatever. And people used to die from scratches on their arms sometimes. Right?
Yes.
Well, here's one that's made from salt water. But when you have cells that are normal, say these are normal cells, Richard, in your pancreas, and they're good. They're producing insulin. All's good in my pancreas. I don't have diabetes. Let's say my retina cells, they're different cells, but they're functioning properly. I'm not going blind. My lung cells function perfectly. I don't have cystic fibrosis or asthma, right? But if enough cells go bad, let's say this one's bad, this one's bad, this one's bad, this one's bad. Lots of them are bad. We're made up of 70 to 100 trillion cells. Our cells dying all the time. Our cells die, they need to be replaced. But the bad ones get replaced with good ones. But if they don't get replaced with good ones, then they build up, and all of a sudden, if it's my pancreas, say, I'm thirsty all the time. I'm urinating all the time. I go to my doctor. They say, Dr. Silverman, your blood sugar is 600. You need metformin. Here's your prescription. Nobody's addressing my bad cells. All they're doing is to compensate for my bad cells that aren't functioning the way they should. I can't see. I go to the doctor. Oh, God, you got macular degeneration. You need steroid injections in your eyeball every month. No one's addressing the bad cells. So how does the body, we all have cells dying, and we all have cells that are mutating, but we don't all get cancer. But you see these things get worse as we get older, more diseases, all of these things. Because the way that cell gets replaced with a good one, it's not magic. The good cells detect the problem and they send a signal. And the signal goes through to the immune system cells. They come down, signal the cell to kill itself, dissolve it, carry the debris away in the lymph system. And then the good cell, I'm simplifying, replicates itself. So now, oh, wow, I don't have diabetes, right? What redox molecules do is when these cells, the good cells, detect the bad one, liver, kidney, prostate, uterus, anything, we're made up of cells, redox molecules amplify the signal. So the more redox molecules you have, the louder the signal is to the ambulances. So the ambulance is the immune system. It comes down, does what it's supposed to do. So when I was a kid and I'd sprain my finger playing basketball, literally, I remember it would swell up like a sausage. And then the next day it was like, okay, at 8 years old, because I'm producing a lot, signaling is loud. But when I was 20, just playing around in college, it was like, it took a week and it didn't heal as quickly. Then you do it when you're 40 I remember happening, and I couldn't shake someone's hand. A man would shake my hand. Women were okay generally. Men, if they had a strong handshake, I feel like just bumping them. I'm like, don't squeeze my hand, you know? So the signal for help is loud. Help, 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 help. 70s, help, help. 80s, help, help. So when you drink this, you're raising your levels up. You're amplifying the signal. It doesn't cure you or heal you or do any of that. It just makes your body function to its full potential the way it did when it was younger. And it does it for skin too, for wrinkles.
Yes, I should say. I've been on ASEA for about a month, taking 4 ounces. And I don't know how to explain what's happening to me exactly, but I'm having the most vivid dreams I've had in many, many years. What's happening to me? Is it the ASEA? Could it be the ASEA? And if so, what is it doing? Why am I having vivid dreams?
So sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes we forget how we slept differently when we were younger. The genetic expression study, by the way, shows that it turns the genes on that control circadian rhythm, and the genes turn off as we age. So if you have that in your genetics, then you start sleeping more poorly. And it's really fascinating. These are all mapped genes that they turn back on. They control the innate immune system, inflammation. Just look at older people, how stiff they are and sore they are compared to younger people. That's 2 of them. Digestive hormones that control the genes that control hormones, and vascular health, like elasticity of blood vessels and so forth. So it crosses the blood-brain barrier. So you see some really interesting things happen. We cannot make any medical claims. Like if a kid has acne, that's a medical term. I can't even say it's going to help acne. All I can say is, look, it can't hurt you. It comes with a money-back guarantee. If what you're doing for your acne is not working, try it. All right. Someone's got, we can talk about things that hurt, because that's a real quickie to do. Let's say someone has their ears, there's ringing in their ear all the time, right? That drives you nuts. Can we say it's going to help? We can't, because it's not a medicine. This company turned down a large offer from a pharmaceutical company because they really felt that they were going to bury it. And when you go to that gettingyoungerclub.com, there's a video called The Genesis of ASEA. It says not for sale. Thank God they had the integrity not to. They could have sold out and walked away in 2007, taken the cash. Pharmaceutical companies don't want people to stay well. I don't care how altruistic you think pharmaceutical company, I don't think anybody really does, but they need people to be ill or they're out of business, and their shareholders are not happy. They don't want things on the market. They bastardized CBD for decades and scared the hell out of people that CBD is bad. It was like that movie Reefer Magnus with THC, with marijuana. But anyway, what people do to notice the changes, which you're noticing already, so yours is vivid dreams, is they baseline everything on their health first. And I know your listeners will probably call Lynn Matthews, and she will get them this document just to fill it out. It's like a baseline, right? And baseline your major problem. Say the major problem is the ringing in your ear. Say the major problem is your mood is so low. You're just down all the time. It could be you're losing your memory. It could be that your pressure in your eyeball is too high. It could be your blood sugar is too high. It could be your libido is too low. You just baseline everything and take pictures of your skin, right? Because you take pictures of acne, wrinkles, cellulite, sun damage, and say, here's where I am today, right? And then expectations, if they follow the instructions, this is what I see. They follow the instructions. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. And we're just talking about the liquid here. The gel, 30-day money-back guarantee, this is quicker. But by day 7, if they follow the instructions, and Lynn will give them the exact instructions, they've gone through about 1 bottle the first week. About 15% of people, it's validated itself. They reassess what they did a week before. They're like, my God, this is absolutely amazing. The 85% of people that don't see anything yet, they should temporarily double it, right? So now they're drinking 2 bottles a week. And there's a money back guarantee for 30 days. If they do that by day 30, about 60% of people are just say, you got me. It's just incredible. But by day 90, it's 90% of people. So most people don't baseline their dreams. They baseline their sleep and their energy, there's cracks in it. I mean, you might miss certain things, but in the evaluation, but people notice things like this. I have a lot of people that say, well, I've been doing it for 2 months and I don't really see anything yet. But I went to my dentist and my hygienist said my gums aren't bleeding. So there are things that are not on there. It's like you have to look. And by day 90, I'm not saying everything that's going to get better is better. I'm just saying by day 90, 90% of people are like, my God, they were right. This is real.
You mentioned Lynn Matthews, and
Mhm.
she takes care of everything for me. So the number's right there on the screen. Don't buy anything. If you call her, she doesn't want you to buy anything. She wants to direct you to some videos to watch. And then once you're armed with the information that you need, then you can text her back or call her back, and then she's ready to talk to you. So don't even try and call her and order anything. She's not going to let you do it. She wants you to be knowledgeable, and then you have to decide whether it's right for you. So call in. It's right there at the on the screen. So
Yeah. And by the way, that's kind of like, we want, like you say, you want people to be armed with the information to succeed, right? And there's no hanky panky or funny business here. I mean, it's a money back guarantee. It's as safe as water. It's like you're going to buy a generator, and if you know what you're doing with a generator, you buy it, you bring it home and hook it up. But what good is it if you don't know what the heck to do with it? I mean, it's just great. I'm prepared in case something bad happens, but it's just sitting in my garage. So she is amazing. Lynn is incredible. She got involved. It helped her, and then she got her daughter Danielle on it.
yes,
Danielle was hit by a drunk driver and had a bad brain injury. They're
yes,
very passionate about this. And Lynn is not some salesperson. Lynn is a yoga instructor. She teaches yoga instructors how to teach yoga. That's who she is. But she's very, very passionate, and she's very diligent on this. So I'm so glad you have her helping you.
yeah, and she's on an epic mission as you are. I mean, is to spread the word, and I'm in the very early stages uh, with my journey with ASEA, but again, after a month, uh, I'm finding these incredible dreams are starting to happen. Now, to me, that indicates that I'm experiencing some pretty heavy REM, which is
Mhm.
restorative.
Mhm.
So that can only be a good thing. That's when we heal, is when we're in REM.
That's
I
right.
mentioned my 16-year-old son has acne, and put the gel on his face, and every night he does it. But yeah, like one time, and we noticed a difference. Was it the ASEA? We can't say that, but one time he put it on there, and a marked improvement in his complexion. So he's using it religiously every single night before he goes to bed.
Well, he had a fast response. I mean, one of the things, I'll give you an example of why this really, we have an education process here. Let's say you take 100 people and they drink this, right? And the first week they go through one bottle, 15 of them will get a result. Those 15 people can be really dangerous. And the reason is they're so excited, and they end up just giving people a bottle and say, here, drink this. It's a miracle, because their experience was incredible in a week. That's an 85% fail rate.
Hmm.
It's an 85% fail rate. So, we have resources, and Lynn's really good at guiding people. And sometimes they'll start a little bit slower. Sometimes they'll start a little bit higher on it. But the nice thing is, I always say this, people say, well, it helped this problem or this problem. I say, I can't answer that. I can give you resources where you can hear what it's done for other people with your situation. But I can tell you this, that I could never say about anything I did as a doctor, whether it was writing a prescription or doing a surgery. And the three words are this: it can't hurt. There's nothing in medicine that you can say that about. And it comes with a money back guarantee. And you can put it in a nebulizer or a spray bottle. It's so safe. You can see this is the liquid in here. I'm putting it in my eye. I'm not making a claim that it helps eye conditions, but you know what? If you have an eye condition, it can't hurt. We just can't make the claims. You can inhale it into your lungs. You can do anything you want with it. You just can't do that with medicines. And you mentioned the gel. I have to mention this, Richard, and you know what I'm going to say about this. So
Yes, this is the test.
this people want to validate it as quickly as they can to believe it. I mean, they once they have a result, they're never at the mercy of someone's negative opinion. Someone goes on Google and they say, oh, it's just salt water, it's a scam. I mean, the company's 13 years old. They've grown revenue every year. They've done over $1 billion in sales. They have patents on the product. I don't think you're patenting salt water. Double-blind studies. But negative people are looking for a reason to say, see, I told you. Well, this is my see, I told you that it works. When someone gets the product, this is the drink in a gel form. That's what this is. And it's clear, and there's no smell, there's no greasiness. It's marketed to rejuvenate skin cells. So you take pictures of your skin and you just put it on. And the company has other skincare products that augment this and maximize the benefits. But this alone, studies were done showing what it does for wrinkles, for skin texture. But here's the test. That anybody who wants to know that this is real, or anybody that says, I'll prove to you it's not real, if they do what I say, they will absolutely know that it's real. And then they're investigating online differently. They're investigating to figure out, why does it work? What else does it do? And why in the hell don't we know about it? This is so shocking, Richard, to people. They take the gel when they get it. They got 30 days, right? So let's say you try what I'm going to say on 10 people that have something that hurts them. It's a 10-minute test. It's not a day. It's not a month. It's 10 minutes. What they do is they rate their discomfort level on a scale of 1 to 10. So if it's a neck and they're sitting at a computer and like, it's a 1, I'm like, okay, do it. And I'll tell you what you do. If they can't move their shoulder, that's as far as I can go. That's it. This has been going on for 5 years. And look how far they can go. This one's like this one's here. So take a picture how high they can go and write down what's the number of their discomfort level on a scale of 1 to 10, right? Knee, back, neck, menstrual cramp, hand stiff, carpal tunnel, doesn't matter. You find these 10 people, and you could be one of them, right? You shake up the gel. I'll just put it on my neck, say. It's clear. There's no smell. Remember, I put it on my face, but I'm going to put it on my neck. Just like that. Now it's going to dry. And then you're going to do it again. And you're going to do it again. So I do this as a visual with my hands. Put it on 3 times in 5 minutes. 3 times in 5 minutes. And then at 10 minutes, look at your watch. At 10 minutes, ask those 10 people how they feel. Some people will do this, some won't. But if you do it on 10 people, watch real carefully what 9 of the 10 people say to you. Not 1, not 2, not 5. On average, watch what 9 of the 10 people say to you. And you will realize this is not salt water. It's very easy for anybody who wants to validate it that it's not salt water and that it does something, it's doing something. And 3, it's just a matter of time before everybody knows about it. And so I always stress that, like while you're waiting for your aha moment with this, to lock in your belief, you got 30 days, go put it on yourself, put it on your parents, put it on your neighbors. Your neighbor says he doesn't have anything that hurts him. See if he or she can do a deep knee bend with no discomfort. Maybe it's stiff, maybe they can't get back up. Have them put it on their knee 3 times in 5 minutes and watch their face. It stuns people. And it's not an anesthetic effect. Thermographic imaging verifies that it's not just a painkiller.
So visit the website. It's right there on the screen. But before you make any decisions, please text or call Lynn. The number is right there. Let her guide you. She'll direct you to some fabulously produced videos where you can learn more. You mentioned the gettingyounger.club.com. That's a good place to start, but she'll direct you to some other places. Just finally, there are some people out there still saying, wow, this sounds like, it's quackery and so forth. This is a new field of science that's just exploding, right? I mean, you held up a couple of volumes of books.
Here's another one. This is being taught in medical schools now. Doctors, you say, why doesn't my doctor know about it? You know where doctors get their education, most of it when they get out of school? From drug reps. Do you think a drug rep is going to be talking about a product that, number 1, it's not their product. Number 2, it's not even a pharmaceutical. I want the light bulb to go on. You put the gel on a few people that are hurting 3 times in 5 minutes, the light bulb goes on. The analogy I say that is Thomas Edison. Okay. Breakthroughs come along periodically, right? Like true breakthroughs, the telephone, radio, cell phone, the internet, in medicine, penicillin, right? So we talked about that. Picture this, Richard. I'm Thomas Edison in 1879, and you're my friend. You live across the way here. I say, I'm having some people over my house. I want you to come over. You go over, it's 9 o'clock at night. You come in, my living room is lit up with lanterns, right? And I've got like 10 of my best friends. And I say, guys, I got to tell you something. You're my best friends. I've invented something that's going to change the world. And I'm inviting you to invest in it because you're my friends. And the first thing you're going to say is what? What is it? Right?
Yeah. Show me.
Called a light bulb. And they're like, well, what's that? Well, you see how we light rooms with flames? We don't have to do that anymore. It's electricity. You flip a switch, this light bulb goes on. There's no fire. It lights the room. Now I ask, Richard, everybody, who wants to invest in my invention? None of you are going to raise your hands because it's impossible. You've never seen anything but fire light a room. Your parents did, your grandparents did. Cavemen never saw it. No one's ever seen it before, right? No one's ever seen it. But there's one way that I could get everyone, you and every one of you, all of you, to give me every dime you have and to ride home on your horse and dig up money you got in the backyard and bring it to me. And the way I do that is by taking the light, turning a light bulb on. I turn a light bulb on and I'll blow out the candles and I light the room. You don't understand how I did it, but you're like, oh my God, this is huge. And it's just a matter of time before all the other neighbors know about it, the people in the next state, the people in California, all over. You don't care how it works. I went into the science because you asked me. I don't know how this works. I really don't know. All I know is I do a lot with this. I just got back from Bora Bora. I'm sitting in a house on a stilts, and I'm doing a couple Zooms sitting there with my feet up. I have no idea how this works, but I enjoy the benefits of it. And some people want to know how this works. Most people don't care, but Lynn will walk them through all of that. And I want to thank you for carrying the banner and you're out of the box on this. Some people say, well, what are people going to think? This is wacky, but you've already experienced it. Your son has, and you're just starting, and
yes,
you're going to create
baby
a massive ripple effect. Yep.
Baby steps, and stay tuned on this channel. And I'm going to, as new developments occur with me, I'm going to share them with you. And we'll be introducing you to some other people that have been on the journey quite a bit longer than I have, with some amazing stories to tell. And we'll mix in some interviews with other medical people, and it's going to be quite a ride. And I hope you'll be along with us. And please give Lynn a text or a call, and she'll direct you in the right way. Dr. Silverman, thank you so much. Great to meet you, and we'll speak again soon, I hope.
Thanks, Richard. Hope so too.
A new Richard Syrett's Strange Planet drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe at strangeplanetpodcast.com.